Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. And today I'm going to be answering your questions that you just posted today. Don't worry, there will be a part 2 because, well, shite is about to go down, or frankly, it is going down as we speak. So I think you may be seeing a little bit more of me than normal. So don't worry if you didn't get a chance to put your questions in. You can put your questions on the video that I just posted this morning, or you can go to my community page and put your questions there. Okay, let's get cracking. You guys have sent questions. I've got the guide team here ready to answer them. I already can sense that you may not like some of the answers. Therefore, you know what I'm about to say. Call 1-800-SPIRIT Guides. Press 1 for complaints. Now, if you're new here, that ain't a real line, but it might make you feel better. Okay, here we go. Ursula White, thank you for your question, says she's anxious for the team to look at the upcoming Wisconsin judicial election, which is tomorrow. Kelly, the ultra-conservative, versus Protasiewicz. I probably slaughtered that. Do not drink while you're watching this video. It's pretty commonly known. Who's the liberal? Issues at stake: abortion and voting rights. Actually, there's a lot of issues at stake here. This is a big deal. This is sort of like along the lines of a state constitutional crisis, because now I remember the guides were leaving me out to dry there for a minute, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Susan, remember?" So they were showing me some things where, and I'm gonna put it on the screen, and we'll just observe a moment of silence so that you can see how bad it is, because it's bad. They've gerrymandered this. There's no way the Democrats can win unless they have 22% more votes. Now, if you go back to my videos last year, you will see before the last election that the guides were saying Democrats needed 20% more votes just to win. And here it is in black and white, proven for everybody to see that this gerrymandering is so bad. The Democrats need to overcome it. They need to have 22% more Dems just to win a regular race. Now, what's going to happen is there's a few things going on in the country. There's a really good chance, you guys, that the right winger is going to win. It's going to be, is the liberal going to win? I keep hearing no. Now, that can change. We all have free will. All I'm doing is reading the energy of the likely voters, the people that are showing up. And we all know what I just described, that this is a gerrymandered district. But I will tell you this: if the right winger wins, what is going to happen is that, and this is what I've been telling you guys, and this is how they calm me down, because I was just kind of getting in what the spirit guides call a heightened emotional state, like they're watching me from up there and they're like, she's a little hot under the collar, because right now people are protesting in Tennessee, and the guides told you they would, and they are, and they're mad. They're really mad. And a few of the Congress people, the elected Congress people, joined the protest, and now those people are being punished by the conservatives that have the majority by having their ID cards turned off so they can't access the chambers. Now, this is childish. This is stupid. It should be against the law. Is it? We don't know. Come on. We didn't do it. It must be a malfunction. It's that coy, too cute by half BS. Doesn't it remind you of frat boys, that know how to skirt all the rules, you know what I mean, and get away with things? That's what it reminds me of. So here we have that going on in Tennessee. We have this going on in Wisconsin. We have Floridians. We have your go-go boy, go-go boot-wearing boy signed the law with permitless carry. Okay, again, the guides are saying all these things are being done against the popular vote and the popular will of the people. So if we can't vote them out because the thing is so gerrymandered that we can't do that yet, these people are voting in ways that does not represent their constituents. For instance, if this Wisconsin race goes to the right winger. So what I see again is the government coming in. We will have to make laws, federal laws. I see the federal government through our Congress and our Senate passing overreaching laws, overarching laws. So right now they just showed me seatbelts. You know, you don't have to wear a seatbelt in, say, Virginia, but not in Texas. We have federal laws that supersede state laws. And this, my people, is where we're going. Now, you might be saying right now, well, the federal government, you know, our Congress is full of quacks. How are we going to pass these laws? Well, we said this to you many times. They're going to break crime. They're going to break laws and commit crimes. And when they do, we're going to punish them by, you know, putting them in front of a jury of their peers. And then we're going to try them. And then they're going to go to jail. There's lots of Republicans in jail. You should just Google it sometime. How many office holders that are Republican went to jail? It's fascinating. So that's how we're going to get through this. If you see crazy stuff happening in Texas or Florida or even in Wisconsin or even in Tennessee, we will surmount this. Now, it's not going to be tomorrow. It may not be 6 months from now. It may be next year. We may get some of it done next year and some of it done the next year. But the answer to these states that are acting in frivolous and unlawful ways is the feds, is to take it up to creating laws that govern all the states. So that probably answers 3 or 4 questions that I have in here right now. If Wisconsin goes right, the people will get in the street. Again, you guys go look up, because they won't stop showing it to me. Go look up Johnson, President Johnson, talking to MLK or talking about the crisis that was the civil rights movement. We're about to see it right here again. You're about to see protests in Atlanta, protests in Nashville, protests all across the country. And really, in cities that don't normally protest like this. I don't think we've ever seen a protest like there's one happening in Nashville right now. I'll put it on the screen. This is a lot of people protesting in Nashville. Nashville is not a town known for protests. So they're not going to win because they don't represent the majority of us. The majority of us are going to get in the streets and we're going to make our voice heard. And that, coupled with these very important investigations that Jack Smith is doing, that Garland is doing, even that Fani Willis is doing, and Bragg and Tish James, those are the 2 things that are come together, and they're going to allow us to get control of these crazy anarchists that would want our country to just be a free-for-all, with the only rules are ones that they make, that, you know, this sort of oligarchy, autocratic dictatorship, whatever you want to call it, that they want to form. Well, that is not going to work. And what you're going to see is pressure against that. So it is upsetting. I was upset, but I know this energy is going to come through because it feels different to me. When I go into Wisconsin, I can't tell you. It's just not clear enough. I'm hearing the right is going to win. There could be an upset there. That's not energy that is 100% set in stone. However, this energy of Trump going down, this energy of these of these his co-conspirators going down, the energy of the federal government, the DOJ with the crimes, and the Congress and the Senate with new laws. That is set in stone. That is not going to change. So I feel optimistic about it from that perspective. Okay. Susie Abashima says, do I see MTG being held accountable for Jan 6 in any way? She asked for a pardon, attended meetings on Jan 5. She needs to go down. I do see her going down. In the video this morning, I told you guys that I saw her sort of running and Mitt Romney sticking his leg out and tripping her. Now that's just, that's just inter-party Republican, jousting. But I do see MTG going down. She has energy around, allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, they're showing me, do you remember how there was a falling out between her and Boebert? Do you remember that? They were all together and now they're like frenemies, or maybe even worse than frenemies. MTG set Boebert up. I'm just telling you. And Boebert knows it, and Boebert is likely going to be holding kind of like musical chairs, like the last person standing or the last person holding the evidence, of the crime. They definitely set up MTG. They set up Boebert, but MTG is going down for other things. Perhaps related to Farah or Farah, Farah, right? Isn't that it? Or Fara? Fara, I think. Not Farrah Fawcett, honey. Not Farrah Fawcett. She's going to go down. Don't worry. As a matter of fact, when she gets tripped, she never really gets back up. She never really gets steam ahead. And Boebert is like the light comes on and she's holding something. Like, oops, you know what I mean? She was doing something under the cover of darkness. Somebody flips the light on and she's got it. She's got the evidence of a crime, allegedly. But her undoing takes a while. It could take longer than we think. It could take months. It could take a year. But they're both going to go down. All of them are going to go down. They're all going to go down because this is RICO, racketeering, where one person leads you to the next person, which leads you to the next person. And then pretty soon you have a whole group of people that are connected to a crime. And so don't worry, they're all going down. And I think there's some concern about pacing the indictments so that we don't have, Trump and Gates and Boebert and MTG and Jim Jordan and Meadows. We don't have all these people going down at one time, because it might go down like that, but they really don't want it to, because the American public, or let's just say the American MAGAs or the un-American MAGAs, they kind of can take things in small pieces and small bits. And if you feed them Trump and then you feed them one more indictment, you wait 3 and then another, it's easier. They're not going to, it's like, they don't want to wake up this sleeping giant of craziness. So they're trying to sort of spread all this out over the summer. Okay. So that's kind of what I see happening there. Thank you for your question. Ton, thank you for your question. Wants to know if 60 Minutes and or Leslie Stahl's credibility will suffer any long-term repercussions from interviewing MTG. Yeah, Leslie has interviewed apparently did she interview Muammar Gaddafi? That's what they're showing me. I don't know. Anyway, she's interviewed other people that were maybe that's a metaphor for despots. I don't know. I'm not taking up for her, and I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying, I do, Ton, I do think so. I think that this is a new day where people are paying attention and they're ready to hold people accountable. So not only Leslie Stahl, but 60 Minutes and that, broadcasting, and that, is it CBS or something? Yes, they're really going to feel the sting of this. But it's kind of like, the guides are showing me, it's like that they're all drug addicts, and eyeballs is the drug, right? Getting that advertising money is the drug. And you don't want to be outlandished. You don't want to be outscooped by somebody else. So what's better than to have an MTG on 60 Minutes, right? So, but I do think that, they're saying for that reason, a lot of us aren't watching mainstream news, right? A lot of us are not watching mainstream news. And Rachel Maddow's only on one day a week or something. So we're sort of finding our own individual outlets, whatever those may be. And I think that this move by Leslie Stahl is going to hurt them. It's going to hurt her career. It's going to hurt their show, and it's going to hurt the broadcasting company themselves. They're operating on this thing that Americans have such a short memory, right? Like, you make us mad, and then 3 weeks later we're like, oh, well, that was then, this is now. I don't see that happening. I see these protests and this simmering anger sort of happening all summer long into the next year. So I don't see Americans forgetting about this. I do think it will hurt them. Thank you for your question. Denise Hansard says, Trump's lawyer was recently on ABC and given a platform for his side of the story with no real pushback on what he was saying. You didn't finish your question, I don't think, or else I don't see the rest of your question, unfortunately. It's probably along the same line. Listen, the guides talked about this morning in the video that I did. They said Trump is going to have either a literal or a figurative gag order, meaning a literal, the judge says, you're not going to talk, or we're going to charge you $1,000 a day and we're going to lock you up. Or a figurative, which is, we've warned you 3 times, if you do it one more time, right? So he's going to have, what did they call it when you have surrogates? He's going to have surrogates talking for him. You've seen his attorney all over the place, yip yapping. You're going to see MTG yip yapping. You're going to see McCarthy. You're going to see these people. They're going to be his surrogates. They're going to go out and they're going to talk about it. Okay. And again, it's this sense of breaking the tradition, like McCarthy threatening Bragg. You know what I mean? Is that a break of did we just have a tradition that we would act with some class and decorum? Or is there a real rule? And if there is a rule, is there some teeth in the rule? So we don't know, because no one's ever acted this badly before, like they're doing in Tennessee. No one's ever acted this badly before. We don't even know what to do. So we will very quickly start putting some rules in order with some teeth in there. And, but there's nothing we can do about that, as long as, what we can do is stop watching the shows. We can stop watching the shows. I promise you guys, the Trumpers are going to get turned off. They have 2 speeds, full on and don't care. Okay. So they're going to go to don't care. They really are, because they're going to hear things, and they're going to, whenever their thoughts are questioned, whenever they have to whenever they have to think and go, gosh, was I wrong? Or I wonder about that. Whenever they do that, they go, nope, and they walk away. So rather than do critical thinking, they literally shut down and say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know what's happening. All politics are bad. All politicians are bad. They're going to walk away. So if they're not watching and we're not watching, then these newscasters and these news programs or whatever it is, they're going to suffer. And that's what we can do. We, the people, have the power. So if we stop watching them, they're going to suffer. The ad dollars are going to go wherever they go, to whoever the next person we all start watching. So that's kind of where we are. Okay, so Judith Gash, if the judge in New York tells Trump he can't talk about his indictment gag order, will Trump talk anyway? And what can the judge do to him if he does? So what I understand is this judge is going to warn Trump a lot. He's going to give him a lot of opportunities to follow the rules. And then he gets a fine, a daily fine. And then I guess at some point, the judge could theoretically throw him in jail. Now, because, don't yell at me, I am the messenger, we're not going to throw Trump in jail. He cannot go to Rikers. He knows that. So he's playing us. He's going to push this judge to throw him in jail. He's going to do everything he can to get this judge to try to throw him in jail. Because if you put Trump in jail, you're going to have to put 2 or 3 or 5 Secret Service people in there with him. Is that going to work? No. Trump knows what's up. He's not that dumb. He knows. Again, the guides are saying all of this that's happening is about using our own freedoms and our own laws against us. Right? It really is. It really is. So we will have to tighten up some of our free speech laws. We will. We're going to have to tighten up all our laws. We will. We're going to have to start putting teeth in rules. We will. But right now, this judge has very limited things they can do. They could charge him $100,000 a day, which the guides are reminding me, Trump was charged $100,000 a day, or some amount a day. That was a lot. I feel like it was 100,000. It wasn't 1,000. It was like 100,000. And he let that go for a few days, and then he got back on track. So the money will make him, it will have an impact on him. So I think he'll probably get fined, and then he'll get, it was about his attorneys, something his attorneys weren't doing or something. And they withdrew the case. So he does respond to fines and fees. And that's what we're going to have to, that's our only game here. But meanwhile, he's going to use all these surrogates to talk for him. Okay. Thank you for your question, Judith. Victoria says, check in with Mark Meadows to see how he feels now that he's being compelled to testify. Thank you, Victoria. Mark Meadows, when I just now went into his energy, I don't know if I've ever been so scared in my life, in my energy. And y'all, I've been scared before. I work with ghosts and stuff. I've been so scared that I couldn't talk. But this guy is like, I can't describe the feeling in his body. It's like he's vibrating from the inside out, and he's sweating, and it's a cold sweat. And I feel like I've been, y'all, for real. I feel like I've been sweating so much that my razor stubble is starting to get diaper rash or some kind of rash from being wet all the time and rubbing it. Dang, this is the only time I thought it must suck to be a man. Shoot. Oh, anyway. Wow, his goose is cooked, y'all, because I feel like he can't even I feel like he goes to the DOJ and they're like, talk to the hand. I mean, they're like, we want you to do this or get out. You know what I mean? Like they're playing hardball with him. Also, they're talking to his wife or his ex-wife or his family. I feel like they've interviewed. Does he have a blonde? Well, I guess that could be like I think it's a family member. It feels like a blonde young lady, not like a honey blonde or a medium blonde. And she's kind of young and she's like, she has no idea what she is saying. I mean, she's very naive and she's outmatched. I'll say that. Anyway, wow. Mark Meadows is in big, deep poo-poo. He's trying to run. I mean, he's not trying to run. He's reaching out to an outside source. This is all allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. But what I see energetically is him reaching out for help, like to another country for help. Which he's not going to get. There will be sacrificial lambs. And you know who was the original sacrificial lamb? Was Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, that's it. Michael Cohen was the original sacrificial lamb. And there will be others. I really need to talk to you guys about Weaselberg. Now, I don't call him Weaselberg, but somebody in my guide team calls him Weaselberg, and I don't know why, because we don't normally do that. But anyway, let me tell you, I got some dish on Weaselberg. I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to insert this in the middle of your questions. Weaselberg. Okay, here's the deal, guys. You know, his attorneys changed recently, and the inside scoop is that Trump is still paying for his attorneys. Trump gave him even more Trumpian attorneys, or what I would like to call brass knuckles attorneys, if you know what I'm saying. But here's the thing. Here's the scoop. First of all, I have to tell you, when I go into his energy, of all the things about Rikers that he doesn't like. Now, he's protected. He has protection. They've paid, whoever they are, have paid inmates around him to keep him safe. Because if he's not safe, he's going to flip, right? So everybody, this is, again, like for Cohen, do for me. I'll take care of you when you get out or whatever, that kind of BS. But Weaselberg, two things that he keeps wanting to tell me when I talk to him. First of all, he's got to wear these crappy, cheap thong, not underwear. Where are your mind at? No, flip-flops. Those toe thong flip-flops. You can tell I don't wear them. In the shower, he has to wear them in the shower. And they're so cheap and they break. It infuriates him. Okay, like it's not the food, it's not the sleeping with a snoring person or pooping in front of people, none of that stuff, but it's the flip-flops in the shower. Go figure, right? So anyway, here's the deal. Weaselberg has found out on the inside, because he's got his own people. He had his deal with Trump, but he had his own little ecosystem. He had his own rats or people that he worked with to make sure that everything was good, right? Weaselberg was the guy who met with Trump one-on-one in a room with nobody. That's how close Weaselberg was. That's how much he knows the money. But for his own safety, he had his own group of people that would spy on Trump's side of the business. Okay, so these people have been reporting back to him that Trump doesn't have any money, and that Trump isn't going to have any money, and that it's over. Now, why does this matter? Well, it matters because Weaselberg went to prison based on the fact that when he got out, Trump would start paying him, number one, but more importantly, would continue to pay the kids, his family. All Weaselberg cares about is his family. And there's no money to pay for the family. And the important thing that you need to understand is that Trump wasn't in the habit of giving people the deed to an apartment or even the title to a car. You got to use the apartment. You got to use the car. You got to have the job. You might have had part ownership in a business, maybe, but more than likely, all of it was write-offs for Trump's company. So you were a write-off, which we already know he's gotten in trouble for, right? So the guides want to tell you this because there's nothing. If Weaselberg's kids or family aren't getting a hotel or even an apartment or nothing, and there's no money to take care of them, then he's got no reason to be on Trump team. Number two, there's more charges coming down for Weaselberg. He's going to go up. He's going to go from Rikers to even worse. And if Trump has no money, then he has no protection. He has no way to protect him in the prison. So everything points to Weaselberg flipping and going state's witness against Trump. And with they just told me this new part, with the likelihood that given his age and given his expert and very worthy critical testimony against Trump, that the judge in the sentencing could potentially lighten his sentence and or someone could commute it. So if you were Weaselberg and you did all this to help your family because you fixing to check out of this game, and yet there's no money to help any family, then why are you doing this, right? You're going to at least save yourself at this point. So that's what I see. So I just thought that was interesting. And also, I don't know why I'm in his energy. He has this toothbrush. This toothbrush drives him crazy. This guy is used to the lap of luxury, right? And he has this toothbrush that's, I don't even think I would like it. First of all, it's like this big, like the whole thing, not the whole thing. The bristles, he wants to talk about the bristles. Bristles are like it's like a child-sized toothbrush. The whole thing is like a child-sized toothbrush. And he keeps running out of stuff because even though people are protecting him, they steal his toothpaste. They steal his soap. They steal his aftershave. They steal his razor. I know that some of y'all could be rolling your eyes and saying, this is, oh, poor, cry me a river and let me play the world's tiniest violin for you. But this is important. This man, more than anybody else, can bring Trump down in a most spectacular way. And if he ain't happy, he's really at a risk of flipping against Trump. And that is going to be the end of that. Okay. I just had to interject that because they've been telling me this for days and I keep forgetting to talk about it on video. And I just think it's hilarious. His energy is really open. Like I can read his energy. He's like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care who is upset with him. And he doesn't care if they unalive him because he already knows the gig is up anyway. Right? Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you that part. That's why they told me about the unalive part. I saw one scenario was he flips for the feds. The feds get him out. He's going to get out anyway in a couple of months or very soon. That his sentence will be over. And the feds put him in a safe house, but I see the safe house getting, attacked, shot up. So he should be very scared of, maybe that's why he's scared of not having working shower shoes. He don't want to slip and hit his head on that tile floor. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Anyway, okay, let's move on. All right, Mags Wags says, will 45 go down for attempted unaliving people in certain positions either through his own actions or those of his goons. Will he be implicated in murder? Yeah, he will be implicated. Now, will he go down for it? I don't know. But he is going to be implicated. It's kind of like all of us are like 2 + 2 = 4. And yet, the prosecutors are like 3.8956. And you're like, no. Right. So, and yes. Oh, yes. Right. So they showed me, go look up Trump's managers that died in a plane crash in the 80s, I think. The 80s or the 90s. Look up Trump employees that died in plane crash. It starts there, but it don't end there. I think he had something to do with his ex-wife. I don't think he ordered it, but I think he knew about it. And I've said that on video before. I went into his energy. He was sitting in the back of that sedan, that whatever, in limousine, and somebody whispers and tells him about her passing. And I saw his just for a split second, he was human, only because he was scared for himself. And he kind of shuddered. And then he was like he knew it had to be done. In this world, the world that he traverses, the world he's lived in, things have to be done. You have to do things. People have to be taken care of. And I'm not talking about bringing you a hot toddy. I'm talking about taking care of you. So windows are your best friend, or falling down the stairs, that kind of thing. Woo. Okay, let's keep moving. Janet Neal says, look at the property insurance crisis in Florida. Is this a real reason for DeSantis's crazy anti-woke campaign? Could this crisis be the thing that takes him down politically? Gosh, Janet, yes. But yes, the answer is yes to all your questions. The property insurance crisis in Florida is because Florida keeps getting hit by these big hurricanes. It's just, the whole thing doesn't work. The whole insurance thing doesn't work there. And you're going to see the feds are going to have to come in to make that work too. But I do see DeSantis going down for all of these things. Guys, Floridians, again, the guides are telling me the majority of Floridians do not support his whacked out, crazy ideas. They just don't. They're not that far to the right. Floridians are kind of like, think of Jimmy Buffett, okay? A lot of Floridians are like, kind of live and let live. You know what I mean? Like, don't mess with me. I'm not going to mess with you. And he's basically acting like an authoritarian dictator or something, So plus he's going down for money things. The guides have always told me he's going down for all kinds of reasons. But yes, yes to all your questions. Lindy says, will Georgia ever turn blue and win? Well, it's going to be pretty purple, a really nice color purple. All the way blue. I mean blue from stem to stern. Yeah, 3 years. Okay, let's keep going. Miss D, Canadian political question. Will Canada continue to go conservative and follow GOP-style actions of lying propaganda and Christo-fascist BS? If so, tips to survive if you are a fan of humanity. Well, don't go south. My advice to you is don't come down here. Okay, yes, you guys are way behind us. I mean, first of all, I often think of Canada as like our older, more serious and sober sibling. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are like, oh shit, look what's happening to America. You're like looking down on us going, oh shit, So I know that the GOP is, I know this, I've seen it, and I know it from the guides that the conservatives have their eye on Canada, that they do want to do the same thing to Canada that they've done here. They want healthcare to be privatized, and they want your timber, and they want your minerals, and yeah, they do. They want all that. But I don't see it happening. I see they're showing me the east and west parts of Canada. And I mean the coastal east and west parts of Canada really getting energy, becoming bigger and more powerful. Now, I know your capital is not on the coast, and your capital is, or wherever your capital is not a hotbed of people that would be protesters, right? It seems to be pretty conservative in a sense, but we all know that the part that's most conservative is your cow country, is the right above, Montana, all that area there seems to be where your oil is and the fracking and all that stuff, right? But these two power centers, your Vancouvers, your Toronto, your Montreal, these two centers have a lot of people and a lot of power. And I think those two centers will remain the power centers. I don't see the middle of your country getting enough power to outflank those two. Okay. So I know it's scary, and it's even scarier when you see what's happening to us, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I would just try to take the long view right now. If it changes, you can ask me later. You can ask me all the time. I don't care. But right now it doesn't. These two power centers are getting big. But for sure, those two energy centers are going to be in agreement against the conservatives. Beth Mullen says, the guides have been saying that Kamala Harris will be president. Who would be her vice president? Will she have a successful administration? Would she be reelected for another term? I don't know why all your let me see if this is why. Oh, that's why. Now I can see the rest of your question. Operator error. Okay. Kamala Harris, it's almost like it's her soul's path to be president. If we need the law and order president. Now, we've been talking about this whole video. I've been talking about law and order. I've been talking about the feds. This is the timeline that I would see that she would be president. If all the states continue acting like jackasses, then yeah, we're going to need a law and order president. And I'm not saying Biden's not one, because he is. But for whatever reason, I've always seen Kamala Harris being president, and I've always seen her being president because Biden steps down because of, nothing terrible. It's not like he gets unalived. It's that something happens and he just doesn't feel like he can give it his all and he needs to step down. I don't know, but she becomes president and she is ruthless. She sicks the DOJ. And I know that she's not an authoritarian, but it's almost that kind of energy. And it's interesting, isn't it, that a Democrat would have to espouse that kind of energy when we're trying to fight that kind of energy. I'm sure there's some crazy thing there for us to learn, some lesson. But the country will have gotten too out of order, too rowdy. Everybody, like it is, like it's starting to get. You see it. If you got people in Tennessee saying, no, you can't enter the Capitol because we don't like you. We're going to turn your little IDs. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? But it's also un-American. It's also against everything that our country's built on. So that's why I see her coming in, if you want to know. And her vice president, because it would be very traumatic for certain populace in our country to have an African-American female president. I mean, we could solve a lot of problems because probably about 40% of them would just have a big old MI and die right on the spot. But anyway, did I say that out loud? Her vice president would likely be somebody that would just make me mad, like a Republican. Because the Democrats are always trying to balance, Democrats are just, maybe they're Libras, I don't know, or Geminis, I don't know, but anyway, she's not going to bring on Buttigieg. We're not going to have an African-American woman president along with a gay vice president. That ain't not going to happen. I mean, this place will blow up. It'll just literally like my confetti cannon, except for instead of having big pieces, that it'd be just like particulate left. Okay. So I think that she would bring somebody in like Adam, what's his name? The Republican on the Jan 6 committee. I don't think it would be, I think it would be a male, and I think it would have to be somebody really moderate Democrat, straight as an arrow, or as moderate as a Republican as you can get. I would not like that. I wouldn't be a fan of that. But the guides are showing me that it would be good. We would need that. If our president stepped down and our vice president had to step up, that would be a lot of turmoil right there. Then she's a woman. That's a lot of turmoil, and God help them. God forbid that she's not white. So adding a white male Republican to that ticket would stabilize it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I think if I had to choose, I probably, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's you guys is in California. You guys is governor in California. There's a lot of people that would make a great vice president. But we'll have to see. I feel like that's what would happen. Now, this is a timeline I'm watching. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen because the guides told me the minute I saw her on TV for the very first time, they told me president. Other psychics from other countries that I don't even watch, the spirit guides have popped in front of me and they've said the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to come true. It's like when you're a psychic and you don't want things to come true and they do. It's not that I don't want her to be president. I do. I want her to be president under different circumstances, right? Under circumstances where she would feel honored, where she wouldn't feel like she was thrust into it by virtue of duty and everybody didn't appreciate her, right? That I would rather her be elected and lifted up, and you know what I mean? I'd rather the energy be different around this. But she came here to do a job, people, and she's the right person to do the job. She's the right person to be the law and order president. She's a prosecutor. She's the right person to do this. It's like, again, what I said earlier, mommy and daddy need to come home from being out at their neighbor's party and get all the kids and, get them together and put them in their jammies and put them to bed because they've wrecked the joint. That's kind of what's happening. So let me just do one or two more here. Living large in a small space says, hi, Susan. When they run TFG's fingerprints through the system, will he be linked with other crimes? Crack me up. No, not his fingerprints. Although I'm not sure that he has fingerprints. I'm not even sure that he's human. But his DNA, if they do get his DNA, if they can get his DNA and they are able to put that into the database, which they just told me, yes, they're going to get his DNA at some point. Yeah, he's going to be linked with people. His DNA will be linked with people. It goes back to that question somebody asked earlier about him being implicated in crimes, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Possibly even, I don't know that we're going to hear about this. I feel like we're going to hear about this after he's gone, after he's unalived. Naturally by choking on a Big Mac or something, or like maybe it's KFC, I don't know. Anyway, he could be linked to like a Jane Doe kind of situation. It's just terrible. Okay, gonna keep moving. Fed girl, if MTG shows up at the courthouse Tuesday, will she behave as requested by the mayor or end up getting arrested? MTG, high five, girl, high five. High five, Fed girl. Okay. You know what? Do you guys remember a couple of weeks ago when the Proud Boys, I think it was, showed up in New York to protest when he was going to get arrested the first time, when he told us he was going to be arrested, but he wasn't. Did you guys remember seeing that Proud Boy walking away and somebody beat him up? Like they just beat him up. And he was like, man, I wasn't trying to get beat up. I was just trying to protest it, that's what MTG is going to face in New York. She's going to get pushback. She's going to get energetic pushback. And knowing her, she'll throw something. She'll throw something at somebody Or, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you throw a punch at a New Yorker, you're going to get punched back. So I think, yes, there's a really strong possibility that she could be, yeah, that's so true, that she could get more publicity than Trump. Oh, so you see her on 60 Minutes. You know she's running for president. You know she is. So if she goes to New York tomorrow and creates a great big scene and outshines him, what do y'all think going to happen? Can I bet in Texas? No. Let's all go to Vegas. Let's take some odds. I really want to take odds on this. This is good. Because if she outshines Trump, she's going to get put in her place. Somebody's going to put her in her place. I wasn't going to watch any of this, but now I have to watch this because if she's going to, well, I'll see it. I'll see it on the guides. Make sure that I see what I need to see. Oh my God. Yeah, I see pushing, shoving. I see bad behavior. Bad behavior. Yes. I don't think I see her getting arrested, but there's a potential there. I give it about 20%. She has people around her that are going to be minding her, that are going to be trying to keep her from being arrested. But I mean, that is literally their job, is to keep her from getting within physical distance of people. But I don't know that they're going to be successful. Okay, one more question. Daniel B says, now that Trump has been indicted, will any more prominent Republicans be indicted soon also? Meadows, I'm starting to feel bad for him. Like, he's shaking and sweating so much, it's almost like it would remind you of someone. If you've ever seen somebody going through DTs, that's kind of what it reminds me of in a weird way. Jordan, I just saw Jim Jordan. Wow, that's fun. This is getting to be fun. Who else you want to show me? Gates, McCarthy stepped to the side. So the energy is just kind of coming along and grabbing people, right? McCarthy stepped back and energy went past him. That doesn't mean he got off. That doesn't mean it's not going to come. It doesn't mean another energy train isn't coming. Lady Justice has booked all the trains. She's bringing all the business. She's bringing all of it. I see Gates. Gates might be thrown under the bus. He might be a sacrificial lamb. Y'all remember that video of him where he was being talked to? I have a recording of it. That's how crazy it looked. He was on the floor of the House, and it was when they were voting for McCarthy, and he was holding out. And I don't remember who that guy, maybe that guy was from Tennessee, got over and got in his face like this close, and Gates kept backing up, and the guy kept staying in, and then the guy tapped him on his shoulder, and Gates flinched and looked at him like, God, how dare you, sir, unhand me? It's like, God, you wusses? They're wusses. When people treat them bad, they just crumple into a ball and cry. It's a good thing I'm in this video because it's coming apart at the seams, y'all. Who else? Any prominent? Ooh, MTG. I saw MTG. And I still see Boebert. God bless her. She's just standing there holding this thing. And I got to tell you, this thing kind of looks like a BOMB. And it could be just that it's the old round one with the little fuse. You know what I mean? It could be a metaphor. Like, or it could be for real. I don't know. I'm scared. Anybody else you want to talk about being taken down? Flynn just came to mind. And Stone. I'm kind of getting Barr and Bannon. I was seeing Bannon's face and hearing Barr's name. I mean, that's a nightmare. That's like a wide awake, waking, daylight, sun's out nightmare right there. I'm like, well, which one is it? So I'm just going to throw them both in the basket. There are others. I just can't sit here long enough I can't see some of them. They're in the dark. They're hiding. But Lady Justice has got a spotlight, so they're not going to hide. They're not going to hide. That's what they turn on the lights. They turn on the lights and there's Boebert with the fuse lit. It's like, what a big dummy. God bless them. Makes me feel bad for us. If they're dumb, then what's wrong with us that we're letting them run this place like this, Anyway, hey, I hope this has been informative, fun. I don't know. Some reason why you wanted to waste your time today. I don't know. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I will be back. It's going to be crazy, especially if MTG with her little short arms is like, trying to get at somebody. I'm going to be on that. And then also part two, I will do part two of your questions. So look for part two on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to have Way Out Wednesday this Wednesday. I've got an interesting topic for you guys. Leave me your comments down below. I always enjoy your comments, so please do so. And most importantly, take really good care of yourself. Are you hydrating? You feel okay? Drink some water. Hydrate. It's for real. Eat good food. Take good care of yourself, okay? We'll see you again right here on this channel. For entertainment purposes only.